You a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from Galaxy's Edge to Gotham City and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me, as always, is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
Well, apparently, what is up is we decided to have our second guest on the pod. Second guest of all time. Currently with us, good friend of the pod, Matthew Biesiada. How we doing, Matt?
I'm doing very well. Guys, I'm very excited to be here and honored to be a good friend of the pod. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Steve and I don't have many good friends, so when we get one, we hold them close. And you're one of them, Matt. So thanks so much for being on the show. Matt Biesiada is a Disney expert. I will go ahead and call you that. I don't know. I should have asked for your actual title, but I'll say Disney expert. Former employee of Disney World, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I was a cast member in the early 2000s. I've also been to 8 Disney parks on 2 different continents.
8 out of how many? Like 12?
There are 12. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's impressive, I gotta say, right there. So Matt is on today because he recently visited the land of Batuu on Galaxy's Edge, or again, for the lay person, Star Wars land at Disney World, Orlando, Florida. So we're going to talk about that in depth a little bit later on. He's very excited to talk to us about it. We're very excited to hear about it because, again, Matt, I think you're the only person I know in my life that's actually been there. So, I mean, besides the other friend that went the same time as you. But I don't think he listens to this show, so I can just say that you're the only
I don't
one.
think he actually went because his son got sick that day. So.
Oh no, I meant the other. Oh, okay. So 2 other friends.
Oh, the other friend.
The other friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for anyone not listening, we had a ton of people we knew that went down to Disney the past 2 weeks. So here we are. But
only one that we wanted to come talk about it on the podcast with us, and his name is Matt Biesiada, and he's here. So, but before we get to that, we got some other nerdy stuff to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a post The Batman world right now, everybody. The Batman has opened, and boy, did it open. It is currently sitting at $128.5 million opening for domestic box office. Worldwide, it has got $248.5 million in the worldwide box office. It's the second biggest opening for the pandemic era, behind only Spider-Man No Way Home. And if you want to hear my thoughts on this movie, I'm the only one of the 3 of us that has seen it so far. You can listen to an episode we just recorded and just put out about my spoiler-filled reactions and review of the Batman. It's kind of in 2 halves, where the front's kind of like light spoilers, and then the back half I get into some bigger spoilers. So maybe you can listen to half of it. If you want to know nothing, don't listen to any of it at all. Right. But if you have seen it, you want to know my take on it, then you can go ahead and listen to that episode. It's up currently right now.
That's actually
I gotta wonder.
It will be up. It will be up in about 5 minutes while we're doing this pod. But at present, I'm doing a little producing on the side. So.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, second behind Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't think that's a surprise. I don't think anyone thought it was going to beat Spider-Man No Way Home, considering the buzz and rumors and confirmed things that we knew were going to happen in Spider-Man No Way Home. And again, as we talked about in the spoiler review, the Batman is a half hour longer than Spider-Man No Way Home, which leads to less times it can be shown, less tickets then can be sold. So who knows, if this movie was 2 hours long, maybe it would be closer to Spider-Man No Way Home, but who knows? But I don't know. This is a tremendous box office haul. Right? Like it's no slouch. Like I know, like no Spider-Man like blew the doors off of box office in the pandemic era. And if Spider-Man hadn't done that, then this movie would have been hailed as what is doing that, because I don't think no one's come close to either of these movies in the pandemic era. So I don't know. I feel like every once in a while I still hear people talking about superhero fatigue. I don't know if that's ever going to be an actual thing. Thoughts?
No, it seems weirdly like we're pushing into territory where that fatigue is not really going to happen. I know at various points we've been burnt out on a couple of things here and there, but I'm pretty sure in general we're just gonna keep riding the wave because there's so much content and so much available that I mean, as much as it sucks that there's not, you know, all these novel ideas and this, you know, new like world out there of people coming up with brand new IP. It's like, well, if they're gonna at least mine it, they might as well mine the stuff we like. So,
yeah, that's true.
And part of it, not to interrupt, but part of it, Warner Media saying that they're only going to release it in theaters, similar to what Sony did. I think plays a lot. If you want to see this, you got to come to the theater.
Yeah, for sure. And this is one of the first. Thanks for saying that, Matt. This is one of the first big tentpoles from Warner Brothers since they stopped doing the day and date releases that they did all through 2021. I don't know that they might have had a movie or two that came out in January, February, but not nearly on the level that is the Batman. And you're right, it's theater exclusive until only April 18th. Only very short window that it's going to be on streaming. So you got to wonder if they maybe regret making that deal, that it's so quick, because maybe they could make it's doing so well. It probably would have legs the box office, but now it's going to be gone, or it's going to be at home and by April 18th, which is, you know, a little over a month away. So I don't know. Interesting to see how I'm sure it's going to continue to do well this week and next weekend and stuff, because the reviews are very positive so far. And also, like, you know, Steve, you mentioned like being burnt out on certain things. Like I mentioned that I went through periods of being burnt out on the MCU. And a lot of that is because that, you know, we all know the MCU kind of has a style, has like a look to it. Sometimes it kind of like diverges, but a lot of the main entries they kind of have the same feel, same kind of humor, that kind of thing. Where this is a new interpretation of, you know, it's Batman. We've seen a million Batman movies, but this is like a new interpretation, a new director, a new character. So a lot of this breeds or feels new and like kind of breeds newness in a way that even Spider-Man No Way Home didn't necessarily feel new. It was just doing a lot of cool stuff.
Right.
You know, so like I think a movie like The Batman avoids superhero fatigue. If this was like the 10th movie of Christian Bale playing Batman, then we'd probably be like, all right, we're done with this guy. But because it's new, because it feels fresh, I think it is more appealing for sure.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens, you know, moving forward later this year when you have the 4th film now in a series in Thor: Love and Thunder coming out.
Yeah.
Though at the same time, you have the genius brain of Taika Waititi keeping things fresh compared to the first two. So that there's some different factors, and I'm glad that, like, I'm almost glad that Marvel seems to be realizing that they need to mix things up here and there.
Sure.
I think Peyton Reed doing Quantumania is going to be the first trilogy all done by the same directors.
Yeah, I think you're right. Unless, does Guardians come out before Ant-Man 3?
No, I think that'll be in the year after.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're
filming.
Because now.
John Watts did all 3 Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay.
But technically, you're right though. Technically, those are Sony movies. Just
Fair.
MCU. So I don't know. You got a point. You got a point. Yeah, I forgot. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Oh, the Thor thing. Like Thor: Love and Thunder is almost just like movie 2 as a sequel to Thor Ragnarok, because the first 2 Thors feel so different than Thor Ragnarok is like such its own thing. It's such a breath of fresh air from the first 2. You know, there's cool things about. I like the first Thor enough. Second one, everyone says the worst of the MCU. There's still some cool stuff in that movie. They made it relevant through Endgame or whatever, but like Thor Ragnarok is like just
A+.
white hot heat in comparison to the other 2. So that's almost like a different beast. It's like a reinvention. And so now it's almost like, oh yeah, this is just a part 2 of the Taika Waititi's version of Thor. So I feel that's gonna do pretty well. I think for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, speaking of Marvel, let's move on to talking about some Marvel news that we got this week. Namely, a big thing that I don't know. I didn't think this was going to happen for a while. I thought we were going to have to wait But we're not waiting too much longer. The Netflix Marvel shows and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are coming to Disney Plus on March 16th. They just left Netflix as of the end of February. March 1st, they were gone. And this week, first week of March, we got an announcement they're going to be on Disney Plus by March 16th. And that includes Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and The Defenders, plus Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, wow, those are like hard R-rated shows coming to a very family-friendly streaming service.
Yep.
And so Disney's also going to be adding parental controls to Disney Plus for the first time, which is something I want more information on that, because the three of us talked about this just in the last couple days. But in other countries, there is a section of Disney Plus that is a parental controlled section of Disney Plus that has all like the 20th Century Fox R-rated stuff like Alien and things like that Disney now owns. When they say parental controls, is that what they're going to show on Disney Plus? I hope so, because I want to be able to watch Logan or Deadpool or Alien or whatever, and Daredevil and Jessica Jones on Disney Plus. So anyway, thoughts on this? Like, are we excited that they're going to be on Disney Plus? Do we think that we're going to get a full rollout of R-rated stuff, or what? What are we talking about here, do you think?
I was very surprised. I thought the move would be to send them to Hulu. I thought it was a natural transition. You know, you already have R-rated content on there, and I figured, you know, Disney Plus is still very young, and that they wouldn't want to mess with the brand. You know, because there's some Disney Junior stuff on Disney Plus as well. So it surprised me to have that wide of a range, but I think they want to have all the MCU stuff together. And that makes sense. I think the parental guidance stuff has to be, you know, could be a stepping stone to the other films you mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I guess the other question would be, does this, because in other countries Hulu isn't really a thing. It's or tied to Disney. Is
that true?
Yeah. Does this spell the end? Because that's why Disney has the gated content, because Hulu isn't an option. That's why they have the Hulu or Disney Plus Star or whatever it is.
Star is the international market in the UK and India and Australia.
Yep. So they utilize that as the gating. And does this spell like them rolling Hulu and Disney Plus into one amalgam of something?
Whoa.
You know, do they want to hold up the infrastructure for both streaming services? Is there any real reason to for them?
Wow.
I would be surprised if they rolled them all together, mainly because Hulu has so many deals with CBS and NBC and they even have I think they have a Showtime. You know, you can bundle Showtime. Not bundle. You can pay for Showtime through your Hulu.
Yeah.
So it goes through there. I guess I'd be surprised if they would, and they love pushing that Disney bundle. So it I guess it would surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to complain because I get it free through Verizon, so that works for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hope very hard that they are instituting this, or this is a step towards, like, you know, what we were talking about, allowing those other like mature content films to be on Disney Plus. It seems strange that you'd be able to go to Disney Plus and, you know, be scrolling through things and be like, Spidey and His Amazing Friends, Bluey, Jessica Jones, Sleeping Beauty, Daredevil, you know, like,
right.
You don't want your 6-year-old to just be scrolling for something to watch and be like, oh, Daredevil, I've heard he's a superhero, and then watch Kingpin smash a dude's face with a car door until he's dead.
Right.
Or Punisher, or so, which is 10 times worse than anything that happens on Daredevil.
Right. Well, even Jessica Jones, you know.
Just
the innuendo and the
Jessica Jones.
Control,
Jessica Jones is about rape culture, and so like that's not something. I mean, that's an important conversation for sure, but it's not something you necessarily want.
You don't want that sitting next to Bluey.
5-year-old to be viewing after they just finished season 2 of Bluey.
Right. Which also, if anyone has kids and is listening to this, go watch Bluey if you haven't, because it might be the best show on television.
Yeah, Bluey's great. If you're a parent that has a kid and you haven't watched Bluey, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
Watch Bluey; it's incredible.
Yes.
But don't let that kid watch Jessica Jones. Is I guess what we're saying. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens. I hope that it's a full rollout of the Disney Star or whatever they want to call it here in the U.S. But I guess that remains to be seen because they've been kind of vague about what it's going to look like. But I don't know. We will find out on March 16th.
Absolutely.
Something else, Marvel and Disney Plus related. We got a new poster for Moon Knight this week, and what it features is a Steve, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you want to just talk about this? You just set it up because you know more about this than me.
So, Moon Knight, actually, at this point, I saw it described as the moon has 4 phases, and Moon Knight has 4 identities.
Interesting.
So in the comics, what we saw was or not in the comics, but what we saw and was revealed was a poster of a man in a mask with a all-white tuxedo and gloves, and literally just absolutely all white. You could tell Oscar Isaac's eyes coming through the mask, and that is known as one of Mark Spector's personalities, Mr. Knight, which is more of his. It's actually a relatively newer incarnation because Moon Knight's been around since the 80s. In 2014, Warren Ellis in his run added effectively this new persona that is, he's like the consultant persona. Like, he's the one that works with the police department and is
okay.
He's like a PI type
like investigator, or like just more like less I don't know, more civilized, maybe? Is that the way to talk about it? I guess
not the masked vigilante going out and doing everything, not the playboy Stephen Grant millionaire, not the taxi driver Jake Lockley. Like, he's I guess more grounded. The police work with him and ask him for information, and he works as like a consulting detective type thing. So yeah, it's kind of a different face of Moon Knight, and another I guess another feather in the cap of the fact that it seems like they might be bringing all of the personalities of Mark Spector to the table with this. And if you thought it was going to be weird before, it's really going to be weird now. Yeah,
so we're really getting everything with this Moon Knight show. Yeah. Like, they're not really saving anything for a season 2 or whatever. I think that's awesome. Yeah, they're just not all cards on the table. We're just trying to make the best show that we can and give you everything that we think you want as fans. It
seems like they're diving in right into the deep end, and I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you earlier this week, I watched the trailer again with my wife, and she immediately was like, "Why did you make me watch this? What could you possibly think I would enjoy about this?" And it got me a chance to watch it again, and I was just like, this is going to be really good. So I don't know, man. Have you seen I'd assume you've seen the Moon Knight trailer.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think it looks very intriguing. I think it will be interesting. This is the first Marvel property, Marvel TV series rather, in the Disney Plus era that hasn't had a introduction in a film. It's straight to TV series, and I think this will be very interesting to see what they did with it.
Yeah,
is that true?
Every other character we already knew.
Yeah, you're right.
Hawkeye, Loki.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm thinking of characters like Kate Bishop, who was introduced in Hawkeye, but Hawkeye was rooted from Jeremy Renner. So yeah, you're right. Wow, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Right. And then in my brain I was like, oh, She-Hulk and the Marvels.
Ms. Marvel.
And I was like, oh yeah, there's 2 others, but they're coming later this year or into next year.
Yeah,
so.
so you're right, Matt. We are moving into a not tied to the films era of Disney Plus Marvel shows, and Moon Knight is the first one of those. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes over.
Other thought that just popped into my brain: coincidence that they're bringing these R-rated gated shows on the 16th, and Moon Knight debuts the 30th.
I don't know. The trailer definitely looked. The thing, I mean, no, I'm not trying to throw shade at the MCU. My favorite thing about the trailer for Moon Knight is that it doesn't look like an MCU thing. It looks scarier. It looks darker. It looks a little more intense.
It feels more like the Netflix shows than it does the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, I would say that. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I don't know. We'll see how far they push that PG-13 rating. Oh, by the way, I didn't say this in my Batman spoiler review, and this is not a spoiler, but the Batman really, really pushes the PG-13 rating. Like, it pushes it a lot. It's great. Anyway, moving on to our guest. Moving on to a galaxy far, far away. A long time ago, last week, when Matt Biesiada visited Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land, at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Is that the park that it's at? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, Matt, this is a place that, how long has it been open for, Galaxy's Edge?
It opened right before the pandemic. So it opened, not right
before. Great timing.
It opened in May of 2019 in Disneyland, and then it opened in August in Walt Disney World. And they're almost an exact copy. It's in Disneyland Park, and it's in Disney Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World.
So
16 acres. It's huge. It's the biggest land. Yeah.
Really?
It's the biggest land Disney's ever done. Yeah.
That's interesting, because I feel like in the YouTube videos that I've seen or the photos that I've seen, it doesn't look that big. Like, what takes up that much space?
There is just this ambiance around it where there's so much just random stuff. It feels a lot like feels a lot like Mos Espa, where you know there's these huts and there's these marketplace, and you know there's people selling. I'm sure
that hut.
In Mos Espa, they're not selling, pins for $19, but
it's 19. It's 19 credits in Mos Espa.
Yeah. So one cool thing is everything is in the language of if I'm saying this right, Arabic. So everything is in English and everything is in Arabic. This fictional language they made just for Galaxy's Edge.
Well, no, it's been the language they've used in Star Wars since.
It has.
Yep. So anytime you see any of the writing on like the TIE fighters or anything, that's in Aurebesh.
Okay. Yep. I know exactly the fonts.
Very angular fonts, and yep.
Yeah.
And
Aurebesh, did you say, Steve?
Yep.
Aurebesh?
A-U.
Okay.
Yep. A-U-R.
Aurebesh. Okay.
A-B-E-S-H.
Okay. And I was in there for about 2 minutes, and I asked a cast member. I commented on his name tag, and he was quick to pull out a translation guide, English to Arabic, which was kind of cool.
Wow!
Yes. So there's things written everywhere that aren't in English, and you can go through and decode them, and it's they definitely made things for people to come back and see. I feel like I spent 3-4 hours there and I didn't see everything because it's so massive.
So all these tents and things that you're talking about that you walk by, are they interactive? Can you actually buy stuff, or is it just a show, or is it just a set?
It's so part of it, like one of them you walk by and it's like a junk trader shop, and they have a broken down pod racer and a broken down speeder, and there's some droids working on it.
That's just like part of the show. Like, you can't
it's just part of the show.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
They have a lot of droid parts everywhere. there's one section my nephew and I. So I went with my nephew Ben, who is a big Star Wars fan like us, and I have a comment I'll share with you later, but he goes, oh my God, look at that, and I'm like, and I'm looking at this thing, and it's these like pipes, and I'm staring at the thing for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, buddy, I don't see anything, and it was the Dianaga from A New Hope,
the trash compactor scene. Yeah.
And the thing just pops up, looks around, and goes down.
Like the little eye, like
yeah. And there's small things like that are just like, oh my God, that's so cool. And that probably cost them $50,000 in technology to do.
Just to do that.
Yeah. Just so cool. So there's a whole storyline behind Galaxy's Edge. They have it's the planet Batu, which is, I don't believe is in any novels or any films.
It is.
Yeah, I think it was.
It is.
It is.
There's a tie-in comic miniseries, a 5-issue miniseries to Galaxy's Edge, which I have if anyone wants to read it, and also a Black Spire Outpost novel.
You're amazing. Wow. You never cease to amaze me.
There's a little bit of Star Wars in the brain up here.
Yeah, a little bit.
And the Black Spire Outposts. So it's got this it's sort of got this Tatooine feel. It's got these faux mountains and but like a lot of junk shops and trader shops and so we walk in, and I have tears in my eyes because it's just the coolest thing, and I've waited years for this. They announced this at D23 in 2015, and D23 is the Disney Comic-Con, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have, so they announced it then, and when you first enter, you get this vibe. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen next? And you turn the corner, and there's this First Order ship with 2 stormtroopers giving people a hard time. Like, don't you take pictures of me, and well, anyway, just do what they're doing. And they're like, it's, I don't pose for selfies, I'm going to arrest you, whatever they're saying. And so we're watching the troopers, and we turn just to our left, and there's a green and blue milk stand. And we're like, oh my God, this is like, we're doing it, and there's no line. And my nephew and I are trying to decide which to get, the blue or green milk. And Ben goes, you know where green milk comes from, don't you? And I'm like, okay, we're getting the blue milk. So but the cast
I've heard the green is actually better than the blue.
Yeah, green is better than the blue.
Green is better than the blue.
And the reason I know that is because the cast member, who was fantastic, I wrote a long email to Disney Guest Relations because I really like to point out the cast members that go above and beyond. And she heard us talking. She liked our vibe. She gave us a free green milk.
Oh, wow.
So we tried both of them, which is great because for $9 a milk, it's
Is it actual? Okay, is it actual milk or is it something else?
It's rice milk and coconut.
Okay,
and then some flavoring in in there.
Both of them have coconut in them.
Though. Yeah, it's
what
so good.
What I don't like coconut though.
I think the blue milk is more heavy on the coconut than the green milk.
Okay.
Go green, Mike. Go green.
I guess I'll do green. So like, I don't know. I just can't. I'm picturing like I'm in Florida. It's hot. The last thing that I want to drink on a hot day is a glass of milk when I'm outside.
No, and it's definitely not milk. It's more like
an almond.
You ever have
type.
A frozen Coke? One of those frozen Cokes, like a Target.
Okay.
It's sort of like a frozen drink.
Okay.
It's not like
it's not like burned dairy milk or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not talking like Anchorman Ron Burgundy milk was a bad choice situation here.
Right.
Okay. Right. So okay,
There's
I know
no Jawas saying got milk. I mean it's.
little milk mustache on their
Yeah, exactly.
blank black face.
Yes.
That's a genius milk ad. Why wouldn't they do that?
Who knows?
So I'm sorry. I know you have like notes and stuff that you want to go
Sure,
through. But
no,
like,
you're good.
let's staying on the milk for a second.
Sure.
Did you? Oh no, because you said you didn't go to the cantina, right? The cantina was too busy, and you weren't able to go. Okay.
This was the only thing I was sort of pissed about was for Disney reservations, you got to wake up at 6 a.m. 60 days out to book your reservations if you want them. And I did that. I booked 60 days out, and I got it for $12.05, and we get there, and the cast member was sort of like the major domo, the green guy in Book of Boba Fett. He's like, well, actually, it's going to be about a 35-minute wait. And I'm like, no, we have a reservation. Yes, I can see that. It's going to be about a 35-minute wait. I'm like, okay, so we didn't go in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that there is an alcoholic blue and green milk that is different than the milk that is outside, but you did not get a chance to try.
I didn't do the alcoholic option. I wanted to be clear-minded.
Well, sure,
this trip through Batu.
Those are all my milk-related questions.
Sure.
Do I have to put that in the show notes? Milk ends at.
That Jawa ad, we could send Disney in, some sort of anyway.
I thought you were going to say we could film that, and I was going to say no, we can get a cease and desist really quick.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of faux mountains and small huts, not those kind of huts. Yeah. I planned that joke. It didn't really go well.
I thought it was great.
Thanks. And you can walk in and explore. And there's different artifacts in there. There's like a Mando helmet, and there's like a broken there's broken droids, and what do you call it? Roger.
Battle droids.
Trade Federation droids, yeah.
Yeah.
And rusted out crates with droid parts in it. They're ready to ship. So we're finishing our milk, and we took about 20 steps and turned the corner, and like out of a dream, there's the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, right.
And you're just like, it was like Spotlight. It was like, oh my God. Right. And my nephew, who turns 10 next week, says to me, it's like my entire childhood. And I go, no, it's like my entire childhood.
It's like my entire life, dude.
Yes, exactly.
Sit down.
Yeah, but it's cool, and that resonates. Someone who's about to turn 40 and someone who's about to turn 10, can share, this. And we're just staring at the detail. This thing is so detailed. I'll send you. What's that?
I said it's gotta be. Yeah. There's no. Yeah. It has to look exactly like it.
It's perfect.
And for anyone who's listening that doesn't know, it's fully to scale. Like, this thing is. Yeah. It's not like it's a small version of the Falcon. Like, this is the Falcon.
Yeah, it's enormous. Yes.
The scale you see massive. When Han and Chewie are walking onto it, that's what you're seeing.
Yeah. And the what do you call it? The thing where they walk down is open, so you can see into it. It's so
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I have a whole album of about 200 photos. If you want to put in the show notes or whatever,
show notes.
If people want to see it, yeah,
definitely,
I'll send it to you. So at that point, we had Genie Plus, which is the new Fast Pass. We had Genie Plus for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run later, but it was time for Rise of the Resistance. Now, as I said, I've been to 8 Disney parks. I worked in Walt Disney World. I have friends in Imagineering, and I just there has never been a attraction that can hold a candle to Rise of the Resistance.
Wow,
it is so phenomenal. And has elements of so many different attractions. It just blows your mind away. I'm not going to tell you at all about the attraction itself, but I am going to tell you about the pre-show because the pre-show was awesome.
Okay. You tell me, we were talking about this earlier. You said the ride or the entire experience is like 40 minutes or something?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Wow.
So, on the way, you pass a Blue Squadron X-wing, which I thought was cool that they had one from Rogue One. And the queue line is phenomenal. It's very long and very detailed, and it's rustic, and it kind of looks like the interior of the base on Yavin. And
cool. Okay.
Very cool. So you go into the first briefing room, and there's a map like in episode 4 with green lines on glass. Cool. And then you're moved into a second briefing room where I saw the first actual hologram I've ever seen in my life of Rey, and this was a real working hologram. I don't know how they did it. It is just, I mean, it comes down and just shows her. I mean, it's just so cool.
Was it actually Daisy Ridley?
Yeah, actually Daisy Ridley.
Wow.
Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver,
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar
Isaac, and Finn. They're all in it.
So they specifically recorded new things for this ride or this experience. Wow.
Yeah, and basically, the ride takes place between episode 8 and episode 9.
Yes.
So so that's the period that we're in. It's Rey and Poe telling you you're on a mission, and this is what we need to do. We need to get past the First Order. And so you leave the briefing room and go outside, and there is this gorgeous black and orange X-wing. I mean, it was shiny. It was beautiful. And then you board this like ship. This is all still the pre-show. You board the ship with it's not Admiral Akbar. I think it's his cousin. I think he's in Rogue One.
Admiral Raddus?
Admiral Raddus. Yeah, it is Admiral Raddus. So Admiral Raddus is leading charge, full animatronic. He turns around, and his chin is dangling, and it's so you're on, and he's like, we gotta go, and he pushes off, and it's rocky, and you go off, and then all of a sudden there's a big crash, and the lights flicker, and there's blasts, and you're abducted by the First Order.
Oh man.
And it's so awesome. So almost like in episode 4, where they abduct you, and so the door
tractor beam up into the bigger ship.
Yeah. The door blasts open, and like a giant IMAX theater, you walk out, and there's about 100 stormtroopers.
Oh my god!
Some of them real, some of them animatronic, some of them, just standing there, and you are on the base of a Star Destroyer, and you remember that scene in Force Awakens where Poe and Finn steal that TIE fighter?
Yeah.
Like how TIE fighters are up there like that. There's one right there, and it's to scale. It's absolutely massive. It's so cool. And on the screen in the back, there's ships going by. I mean, it is breathtaking. It is so cool.
For the record, Mike, he hasn't even gotten to the ride yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're excited about what he's saying, and we're not even at the ride yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jesus.
So, it's one of the coolest scenes in Galaxy's Edge, and you've probably seen it in promo videos or photos of all the stormtroopers. It's just so cool. Nice. So it's breathtaking. The open sky behind them. I mean, it's so cool. So you're walking in the halls of the Star Destroyer, and there's like some of those command posts that K2SO, you know,
Yep.
worked
Oh, yeah,
on,
yeah.
you
Yep.
know, those round, and the cast members are pretty rude to you. And at first I'm like, that's kind of weird. And then I realized, oh my God, we're in the movie. We're in this adventure. It's absolutely real. They're like, get over there, you rebel scum. I mean, it was great.
Right, you're
they call you rebel
captured
scum.
by
I'm
them.
like,
Right.
I mean, it's so awesome.
That's amazing.
They lock you up in this cell block, and there's no way out. There's no doors. There's no anything. And you like feel rocking, and you wait there for like 3-4 minutes, and all of a sudden this blast comes through the door, and it's some resistance fighters. They're like, "Come on, we gotta go!" And that's where the ride starts.
Wow.
That's great.
I mean, it's just it is. And then with the ride itself, I won't give anything away, but it has elements of every Disney attraction. Like, I don't know if you've ever been on Soarin' or if you've been on different things. It's a trackless ride. It is so magnificent.
Wow.
Yeah, so cool. So we finished Rise of the Resistance, and Ben and I are both like we literally stood outside after it was done, and we were just like mesmerized. It was just so incredible. But we had to move quick because he had a appointment to build his own droid, and that was very cool.
Nice.
We didn't do the build your own lightsaber because it was costly. I think build your own lightsaber is $250, and build your own droid was $100.
Yep.
But
there's no way I'm not building my own lightsaber when I go.
Right,
exactly. There's just no way I'm not doing that.
Once I'm out of college and making real money, and yes, I'm 40-year-old and still in college, I'm going to make my own lightsaber. But so you go in, and there's this huge conveyor belt, and there's these droid pieces moving out. It's almost like in Attack of the Clones, that conveyor belt where machines making machines, you know. So you get to pick out all the pieces for your droid. And so you pick out all the pieces for your droid, and then you go with a cast member who shows you how to assemble it, and you're using screwdrivers and using different parts. Yeah. And
so you're like really doing it. When I saw like YouTube stuff, I thought that looked just like clip, clap, clink, clunk. There's a droid, but you're saying it's more. You're actually
like there's a screwdriver that's connected that you got to do on, and they got to activate.
Yeah,
and you can buy different personality chips.
Sorry, no, you can finish what you're saying.
No,
personality chips to make it do what?
Personality chips to make it a. I think there's 6 personality chips. You can make it a part of the Resistance, part of the First Order. You can make it a scavenger, but it all has different beeps and boops, and it does different things.
The bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
What is different about this kind of droid that you can't just buy like at a store or something? Like, is it interactive in any way? Like this?
Yes. So, what's very cool is it will interact with other droids that are being created, and you can roll it around Galaxy's Edge, and it will interact with.
Is it remote controlled?
Yeah, it's remote controlled.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's remote controlled. You get a little control thing, and it interacts with cast members. It interacts with characters, and the really cool thing is you take it on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and it interacts with the ride.
Oh, that's cool.
It makes sounds that it doesn't make anywhere else.
Wow.
Stuff like that. It's very cool.
So if you made one and I made one and they were hanging out, would they talk to each other?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And the conversation would be different depending on what personality chip you had. I mean, it's very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is cool. How was the actual Smuggler's Run piloting the Millennium Falcon?
It was great. The coolest part for me was being actually on the ship. So you.
Oh yeah, that's what I think
Yeah.
too. Just being like waiting there.
Yeah. You're sitting at that chessboard. Wookiee doesn't pull your arms out of your socket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did
And
Jarek for the
then
record?
Yeah, there we go. I got some great photos. I just printed off a canvas of just the hallway of the Falcon because it's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the detail on it is just fantastic. So you go on Smuggler's Run, and there's 6 positions. 2 pilots, 2 gunners, and 2 navigators, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think navigators. I can't remember, but there's 6 different positions, and that everything that the people do actually depends on how well you do on the ride.
Oh wow.
It's not like a pre-formed.
Like you have to
Right.
be good at it, or else it won't. Yeah, fly. or
Right.
whatever.
Like it's so. We get in, and I go, Ben, I'm Chewie. He goes, I want to be you, Chewie. So we switch places, and
Yeah.
I was Han / Lando / Rey.
Yeah.
My job was to move up and down. His job was to move left and right. And the gunners are obviously shooters on each side. And I can't remember the third position, but it's intense. So this trip I need to bring more Dramamine because I'm getting older, and I didn't realize that I go on Thunder Mountain now and get dizzy. I guess that's something with getting older.
Sure, can be. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was really feeling it. I was sweating, like my shirt was drenched.
Wow.
He wore an Endor shirt. I wore a Hoth shirt.
I saw that in the pictures. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. It was very, very cool, and it's so realistic. It almost scary realistic.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's a mode you can unlock. I've seen YouTube videos where if you're perfect at it and unlocks Chewie mode, that adds another 2 minutes to the ride.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and a new scene and stuff. So it's very, very cool.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then after that, we ate at Docking Bay 7, which was like this. It's sort of like a, in Mando, what's her name?
Peli Motto?
The lady that, yeah. It's sort of like that. It's sort of like a docking bay. I mean,
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
not just a clever name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just so cool. And then we went to the cantina. We couldn't get in. And then we wanted to go look at Legacy lightsabers. And Legacy lightsabers they have all the hilts for lightsabers used in films or TV series.
Cool.
Yeah, but that was a very long wait. You had to join this virtual queue and to get in because it was a very, very long line.
Is there still, let me ask you, I know this was the case when it opened, or I heard something about it. Do you have a time limit when you're there?
Yeah, for Galaxy's Edge itself?
Yes.
No, not
okay.
any longer.
Okay.
They were doing like I think a 2 to 3 hour.
Yeah, which I thought
deal,
was awful. Cause like
Yeah.
I just want to be there and stand there and soak it in. Like what you're
Exactly.
saying, like you're giving me 2 hours. Like I'm just gonna be anxious. I'm not gonna actually enjoy. Like I gotta get the Millennium Falcon. I gotta do Rise. I gotta go to the
Exactly.
cantina. Like I want to stay there all day. Like
Yeah, exactly. And that was most of our day. We planned. They're like, okay, we're going to Hollywood Studios. We'll do Mickey's Runaway Railway. We'll do Toy Story Mania, but we want to do Galaxy's Edge, and that's going to be the bulk of our
I
day.
assume they still have Star Tours. Is that still available?
Yeah, they still have Star Tours. For some reason, as ironic as it is, Star Tours has been the one ride I can't do. I've done it 4 times, and I've done it in Paris. I've done it in California. I've done it.
So you can do
I
it.
was gonna say that
I
sure
can
sounds
do
like
it.
you can do it.
It's a very small room.
Yeah.
And it's now 3D. And it is, you're watching this video and your seats are. I mean, it's very.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. What's
You're
very
saying
cool
you're saying you can't do it because it makes you feel sick? Is that
Yeah.
Like it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the only type of ride I can't do. There was another ride at Epcot called Body Wars where they take you in the human body. Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah,
That was
it
crazy.
was actually fun fact. It was directed by oh, it's right there. He played Spock.
Leonard Nimoy?
Leonard Nimoy directed it. Yeah.
Seriously? That's amazing.
Yeah. So
I still
I
remember
think it was
back
his
when-
directorial debut, and the only thing he ever.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's what's cool about Star Tours now is whenever there is a new film or a new
Yeah, they
TV show.
They incorporated
add-
into the ride, isn't that right? Yeah.
Yeah. There's something like 25 beginnings, 25 middles, and 25 ends.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
wow.
random every time what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And
I think I
which is
went out
just so
last
cool.
last time I was there was like a long time ago, but I rewrote it like 3 or 4 times just to try to get new ones, and I think we got
Yeah.
like I don't know, we got like the same ending like every time or something. It's
Sure.
okay, come on, but like it's still super fun. So,
Yeah.
all right, man.
Yeah,
like
the last time I was there,
any-
it wasn't even a thing. So
oh, dude,
it's been
yeah.
a while. Yeah.
Well,
Are you saying you guys want to go?
It was still MGM. Let's put it this way: it was still MGM
yeah.
Studios last time I was there.
Okay. So
Wow.
pre 2008.
Pre 2000.
Yeah.
Wow. Pre
It
2000.
was.
Wow.
I think I was like.
Well,
Yeah.
hey,
yeah, I was
maybe
still in-
maybe
I
we
was still
can
in school,
maybe we can
so-
pool our money. Maybe we can pool our money and buy 2 days at the Galactic Star Cruiser or something.
Yeah.
and we can
Yeah.
all go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pull,
No
pull,
kids,
pull,
just-
But
pull,
no, because
pull
in
all of
that
our life
way
savings.
in that way there is a time limit.
Yes,
if we are
there
to go
is.
to Galaxy's Edge. So
Yes.
screw that. I'm gonna go regular and just stand there all day.
Yeah.
Another reason to not go to the Galactic Star Cruiser. I'm literally about to start an anti Star Wars hotel petition. I feel like it's like
It's funny. I tried desperately, and I think I did a pretty good job of staying away from all YouTube videos and reviews and Facebook pages of Galaxy's Edge, and it paid off. I mean, it was so worth
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
Rise of Resistance especially, because I was just so blown away. And really, it's been, I mean, with the exception of 1 or 2 rides, it's been 15 years at least since I've been on a new Disney attraction.
sure.
So that was, I mean, it was just Rise of Resistance is
Oh,
the
man.
creme de la creme,
Nice.
if you will. Yeah.
Can't wait.
So
Can't
when we're
wait.
booking tickets, Mike.
Yeah, yeah. Let's figure it out. Let's make a plan.
Anyway, that's what I'm doing with the Galactic Star Cruisers. I'm staying away from. I get email updates and Facebook updates, and I just block them. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I'll do it sometime.
Yeah.
But until then.
Until then. Well, cool, man. Thanks for telling us about your journey. Thanks for talking about it. We really appreciate the insight.
Yeah,
We're excited to
Absolutely.
go. I'm sure there's a lot of people that listen to this that haven't gone and that want to go. Like, so it's cool to get an insider's perspective.
I appreciate you guys having me. And,
Yeah.
when we talked about this a couple months ago, I told my family about it. They're like, yeah, I'm going to be on a podcast. I go, no, I'm going to be on this podcast. It has over 42 episodes so far. Anyway.
I don't know. I don't know if that number is updated. You're reading that off of our little rundown. I think there might be more than that. I feel like we're gonna miss our 50th episode because that should be like a.
Oh, yeah,
we should
we've-
celebrate that in some
I'm-
way, right? I think we
yeah.
might even be past. I don't know.
I'm
I never
pretty sure we've
update
had
this thing.
episode 42
do
for
a
a long
live
time.
show.
Yeah,
And-
it's been
and
episode.
Pumpkin Waffles have all the,
Yeah, yeah. We'll have all the
cool,
5.
like a mini Comic-Con,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not sure that would draw too much, but anyway, moving from a galaxy far, far away into some comic book news. We had a cool story this week. Kevin Smith has announced his own new comic book imprint in collaboration with Dark Horse Comics. It's going to be called Secret Stash Press, after the Kevin Smith or the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash comic book store that he has run for years and years in New Jersey. Super cool. Kevin Smith, someone who has written for both Marvel and DC Comics. He's written he's written Green Hornet before. He's written Daredevil. He's written Batman. He's written all this kind of stuff. Now he's going to be writing his own comic books through Dark Horse. 2 titles that have been announced so far: Masquerade, which is about like a fledgling vigilante, I guess, someone that's just starting out, and also a series called Quick Stops, which is an anthology series which is going to tell stories in the Kevin Smith View Askew universe. You know, Jay and Silent Bob, Dante and Randall, The Quick Stop. You know, Mallrats characters, like any characters that he owns. There'll be an anthology series about stories about those characters. So I think this is super cool. Kevin Smith is a nerd. He's very pro nerd filmmaker. He's a comic book fan, clearly a comic book writer. He references a lot of nerd stuff in a lot of his movies. And I don't know. I think this is super cool. I'm excited about it. What do you guys think?
No, it'll be intriguing to see. I mean, he's always got a very unique take on things. And it'll be interesting to see what direction he goes with that. I think that's awesome that he's doing a View Askew like side chat thing.
Yeah.
Like it'll just be cool to see, you know, what the characters from Dogma are doing nowadays. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
And as awesome as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, Kevin Smith was doing a cinematic universe 20 years ago.
That's right. He did it first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is kind of like, it's surprising that he hasn't done this before, really, considering that he is such a comic book fan and a comic book writer that he hasn't written stuff about his own characters or done his own original stuff. So I think this is cool. I think it's a natural progression for him. I feel like Kevin Smith is overlooked as the filmmaker that was one of the first filmmakers that I ever saw that had made a movie, Clerks, where the characters in the movie are talking about other movies. They're like talking about Star Wars in that movie. And I remember watching Clerks the first time being like, what? That's what I do with my friends. What do you, what? It just blew my mind. The only thing that I don't like about this is that it means, for me, Kevin Smith years ago wrote 2 volumes of a Batman story, and the second volume ended on a massive cliffhanger. And it was like, that volume specifically was like met with some like critical feedback. Not everybody liked it. He did some weird stuff. People didn't like how he treated Batman, but I liked it enough that the cliffhanger blew my mind, and I am dying to know what happens. And I feel like now that he's got his own imprint with Dark Horse, he's never going to finish his Batman story, and I'm never going to know what happened. So anyway, that's my little shout out. Kevin Smith, we know you're Kevin Smith, big fan of the Multiverse Report. Of course, we know you're listening. Please finish your Batman run, please.
There we go.
Anyway, this week in comics, we got Batgirls #4, the final issue of Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries, the series that I've been collecting and reading with my son. Nice. Big shout out to comic books that are geared towards children. Very surprisingly hard to find nowadays.
Yeah. Or apparently when your child finds comic books that he's interested in. I was telling you earlier, my son randomly grabbed the Star Wars High Republic trade that I had sitting over there. He's like, oh, a Star Wars book. And then he saw the pictures and he's like, pictures? What? Let's read this. Let me tell you how hard it is to read a comic book to a 4-year-old that doesn't understand how comics are written.
Oh, I know. It is hard. You have to be like, and then Batman said, and you have to like point at each word balloon that like, this person is saying this. And now this, you can't just read it because it's just like, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's darn near impossible.
Yeah, for my, you guys were at my house a few days ago for my birthday, and there were some other children there. And at one point, my son ran up to me and said, this other boy's name, he's looking at your comic books. And I was like, I don't have any comic books down here. And then I realized like, oh, I have a copy of a volume of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing and Suicide Squad and The Sandman. And I was like, those are not books that any child should be looking at all. I'm going to go get those right now. But yes, anyway.
What's the parental rating on those?
Yeah, mature.
They would be in Disney Plus Star. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. We also got Batman Urban Legends #13, Captain Carter #1, the debut issue of Captain Carter for Marvel. We got Devil's Reign #5, The Good Asian #9, Green Arrow Stranded. Speaking of comics for kids, DC's been great about putting out like short graphic novels aimed at either young adults or very young kids. This is a one that's named for kids, Green Arrow, but kind of origin of Green Arrow. It looks great. I would say pick it up. There's a bunch of other stuff in that kind of line. If you are looking for comics to read with your kids, just look out for like DC kids graphic novels. You can find a bunch of them. Human Remains #6, Naomi season 2 #1. Cool character getting her own second season arc. Punisher #1, the new story arc, new character development or definition or costume for the Punisher starts here. Spawn number 327. Spawn is still going strong. Star Wars, Han Solo and Chewbacca #1 getting their own storyline. Superman, Son of Kal-El #9. Thor #23. Venom #6. And X Lives and X Deaths of Wolverine #4s come out this week. So lots of cool comics in your local comic book store this week. Finishing things up with some one-shots. Boy, am I excited about this. Fede Alvarez, acclaimed director of the Evil Dead reboot that everybody loves and everyone wants a sequel to, and they're just not making, and I don't know why. Make a sequel to that movie, please. Fede Alvarez, also a horror director that has done the Evil Dead reboot and also Don't Breathe, and he also co-wrote and produced the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre for Netflix, is writing and directing a new Alien movie for Hulu. Alien, the aforementioned franchise that is owned by Disney, that is not on Disney Plus, but may maybe be on Hulu pretty soon. Fede Alvarez, new Alien movie. Apparently, this was something that he wanted to do. He pitched an idea to Hulu, and they just took it based on his pitch.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting because his idea must have been great if it was sold based on a pitch and he didn't have to actually write a script or anything like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not connected to any previous installments, but Ridley Scott, original creator of the Alien franchise, is on to produce. Oh, and it's something that's right. I read this. I wrote this down. Alvarez actually told Ridley Scott his idea for an Alien movie years ago, and it just stuck inside Ridley Scott's head. He never forgot about it, and Scott then called Fede Alvarez years later to say, like, hey, do you still want to make that Alien movie? And got him a meeting with
No,
Hulu.
I don't. Sorry. Like, if Ridley Scott calls you and says, hey, you want to make an Alien movie? You're probably going to say yes.
I'm probably going to say yes. But, like, all of that makes me think this is going to be great. Like, if it's an idea that the guy that created the first Alien movie can't stop thinking about, then, like, man, that's got to be a good idea, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, can't go wrong there.
Can't go wrong there. And was it Hulu that Ridley Scott's doing the Blade Runner series with, or was that Paramount? Was that Amazon? I think it was Amazon, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't
remember. No idea on that one.
I don't know. But anyway, it's cool that Ridley Scott's involved, and I'm excited for more Alien stuff. But does this mean, going back to what we were saying earlier, if they're doing a new Alien movie on Hulu, does that mean that they're not going to do the Disney Star stuff? They're not going to put Alien on Disney Plus because it's going to be on Hulu, because other Alien content is going to be on Hulu. Do we know? We don't know. Who knows?
We'll find this out soon. So,
yeah, I mean, who knows when it's going to be made? But anyway,
right.
I'm excited about that.
Speaking of things we don't know when they're going to get made, more casting news for Kraven the Hunter, because we haven't talked about that enough recently. Apparently, Alessandro Nivola has been cast as the villain, because, you know, the villain.
Got to have a villain for a villain story,
right? Like I will say it right now. I'm sick of all these villains being pegged as anti-heroes. I've read a hell of a lot of Kraven the Hunter books, and like books where Spidey's been involved with Kraven, and there is very little redeeming about Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, call me crazy, but also Ariana DeBose has been cast in an unnamed role, rumored to be Calypso, Kraven's love interest. So, more casting news for a movie we didn't know we didn't need.
Oh, we knew we didn't need it.
Oh, yeah, fair.
It remains to be seen if we actually want it or not, or didn't know that we needed it.
Because they did,
so yeah,
we don't have it in the one-shots, but they did release, I think they did release more footage from Morbius. And
there was a new, when I saw the Batman, there was a new trailer for
it added a couple of scenes, and I can't tell if that helped or hurt it. So we'll find
still
out
looks
April
the same
1st.
to me. I'm still as interested as I ever was, so we'll see.
Yep.
In other news, very good news, Jon Dimaggio officially returning as voice of Bender to the Futurama reboot. This was something we talked about a few weeks ago, where negotiations had broke down between Hulu, I believe, is reviving the series, but could not, and got the entire cast except Jon Dimaggio. Clearly, they sorted out whatever their differences were. They probably just ended up paying him more money.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I hope that's what happened. I hope he's getting what he deserved to come back for this role, for sure.
So funny, quick thing. I've actually never seen Futurama, but I read that really quickly, and I thought it said Joe DiMaggio was returning to Futurama. I go, wow, they're really going out.
Yeah.
The
They're
Yankee
doing this.
Clippers.
This a deep fake and like the Tarkin technology from Rogue One. They're
it's come a long way.
Going deep. Futurama's about baseball. I don't know if you knew that. Futurama's about 1920s baseball.
Yeah, single A baseball in the 1920s. It's fine.
Yeah.
But no, having Bender Bending Rodriguez back on board is huge for this. So, other things that are going to be huge news. A new trailer has been released for everyone's favorite upcoming movie, DC's Legion of Super Pets. And it does confirm that Keanu Reeves, of all people, is now the voice of Batman.
Yes. So we saw when they announced one of the trailers for DC Super Pets, they announced all the voice cast, but they didn't say who they were playing.
Yep.
And Keanu Reeves was on there. And I gotta say, this is another trailer that played before the Batman, which was very funny to me because there was a lot of like dark and gritty action movie trailers, and then right before was like, and also this goofy one for kids, DC Super Pets. That did feature a lot of interaction between Batman and Ace, played by Kevin Hart. And at the time, I was like, "Who is that voice? That voice is familiar. Who is that voice?" I couldn't. And now I know that it's Keanu Reeves, but
he didn't say that he knew Kung Fu. Therefore, you did not know who it was.
No, he didn't say "whoa," so I couldn't really tell that was him or not.
Excellent.
Yeah, exactly. But no, and the trailer, if you haven't seen it, it does look fun. It looks funny. Just more of what we assume this movie is going to be, clearly for kids, but also, appreciated by DC fans or superhero fans in general. And anyway, our last story of the night, Indiana Jones 5 has officially wrapped production. The producer Frank Marshall posted on his social media that we are wrapped and they were all done. Then echoed by the co-writer and director James Mangold, who also directed Logan. Mm-hmm. This movie is in the can, and it has a June 30th, 2023 release date. So we still have to wait quite some time before we see Indiana Jones 5. It just seems like this movie's taken forever, and I'm so interested to see what this actually looks like, or what it is, or what it can do, or just, I just don't know.
No. And I'm so torn because, I for some reason, we probably talked about it, but in my brain, I didn't put together that Mangold was directing. And it's like, how is this going to work? Because I know I like things he's done a lot, and also what they've done with Indiana Jones a lot less. So where's this dichotomy going to end up?
Yeah, I have a thought on this, but Matt, you're somebody that you enjoy Lucasfilm stuff. You're a Star Wars guy. You've seen Indiana Jones movies. You're a Steven Spielberg fan. You're a George Lucas fan. How do you feel about Indiana Jones in the hands of someone that is not Steven Spielberg or George Lucas? Are you excited for Indiana Jones 5 at all?
I am. I think it's similar to, J.J. Abrams taking over Star Wars.
Sure.
I think, I've read the same rumors you guys have read, that this could be a transition to a younger Indiana Jones. They could finally bring back the young Indiana Jones series. They could, pass the baton or the whip off to someone else. I'm excited about it, and I think it's similar to I think Crystal Skull is similar to Rocky 5. Everyone wants to just forget that happened. But this could be, in many respects, this could be Harrison Ford's last hurrah. The guy's turning 80.
I know.
It just keeps breaking things.
Yeah. Which I guess my dream of them remaking Casablanca with Harrison Ford is out of the picture, but
would have been a good choice for a remake, I guess.
But yeah, I'm very excited about it. I don't want to wait a year and a half. I want to see it now, but
I know it's such a bummer. I feel like this is some people could consider this blasphemy. I feel like the best thing that this movie has going for it is that it's being written and directed by somebody other than Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. And
Sure.
and just because, you know, they have risen to whatever such great heights, and the last time they tried to do it, they didn't really do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, you can blame a lot of that on the writing, which was George Lucas, but like Spielberg still signed off on that script and he still made that movie.
I mean, look at Rogue One. I mean, you know, I know people who that's in their top 2 or 3 Star Wars films, and Lucas and Lucas and company didn't really have much to do with it, and it's a phenomenal film.
Phenomenal movie. Yeah, I think that as much as Spielberg and Lucas are like deserving of accolades for creating this character and making like a great series of films up until the 4th one, I think it's exciting to me to have somebody else take over that is passionate about Indiana Jones in a different way. Probably at this point, probably more passionate about the character than the other two, than Spielberg and Lucas, because they are making an Indiana Jones movie for the first time. So they're more excited about it, other than Spielberg and Lucas that could be just like, yeah, let's do this thing again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, J.J. Abrams got a lot of flack because people thought it was a reboot of that Episode 7 was a reboot of Episode 4.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that personally. I mean, there's obviously elements that.
Yeah, I see it, but I don't fault it for that. I see it, but I see what they mean.
Right,
but I don't.
But it was awesome, and I think a new set of a passionate fan can do it justice.
Yeah, I agree. And James Mangold, I mean, clearly has shown what he's able to do with something like Logan or something that you know can just really just be a knockout of the park, which is again different than whoever started the Bryan Singer, that asshole. So like I didn't even mad that I even said his name. But you know, like that's like again, that's a new filmmaker passionate about a character coming in. Oh no, didn't James Mangold do The Wolverine? Or
he did The Wolverine, not Origins.
Yeah. All right. Well, because Origins was terrible. Yeah. So anyway, still similar. Right. Anyway, I'm excited about it.
There's been so many X-Men films that it's hard to...
Yeah.
Since we're putting it on the record, I did also mention Warren Ellis earlier without saying that asshat, so I am now saying that asshat.
Yeah, fuck Warren Ellis. Sorry. I know we're trying to keep this PG-13, but that guy deserves...
That was our one. We got our one.
We got
our one. Yeah, you're right. All right, that's all I got. I'm not sure if we went long or not, but I don't know.
No.
That's all I got, unless you guys got other stuff to say.
Hour and 12, we're dead nuts on time.
Oh, wow, look at us. Perfect. Sweet. Well, Steve, you want to do your wrap-up stuff?
Yeah, I completely forgot. I was getting ready to shut everything down.
Yeah, I know you were. I could see your hand movement. I was like, he's about to shut it down, and we haven't even said to like and subscribe.
Yeah. So, like Mike just mentioned, feel free to like and subscribe. If you're watching us on Twitch, follow below. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell. We'll let you know when we're uploading new stuff. Subscribe on your podcatcher of choice. Leave a review. If you need to, get a hold of us in any way, shape, or form, themultiverseport.com, themultiverseport@gmail.com, the Multiverse Report across most of the social medias, at MultiverseRPT on Twitter, and that's about what we've got.
Huge thanks to our guest, Matt Biesiada, for coming on, sharing his experience with Galaxy's Edge, sharing his love of Star Wars with us tonight. We really appreciate it. You got anything to plug?
Just the Multiverse Report, which
you want to plug. You want to plug this episode of the Multiverse Report that features you. Yeah.
Well, no, every episode. I'm avid. I'm proud of you guys and what you have turned out and turned this into. Thank you so much for having me on. It's really been a pleasure.
Thanks, man. We'll have to have you back sometime for sure.
Sounds good.
So other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time in the Multiverse.